Welcome back this week. We are going to continue on this Bronco. This won't be a super long video, I'm guessing, but we wanted to show you a small thing we're doing on the front suspension. So we're doing the lift kit, got that all wrapped up. You already saw that video. We're going to do the Icon tie rod upgrade. So the factory tie rods leave a lot to be desired. This vehicle has the Haas 3.0 rack system in it, so it's a little better than your standard rack system. But the inner tie rod is still the weak link. The outer tie rod on the Haas 3.0 is actually not too bad. It's pretty beefy. Are they still breaking? I don't really know. But the inner tie rod on the Icon is much, much larger. It's a little tricky to install because you have to stretch the boot over the rack. We'll show you a little bit of that. But if you have the Haas 1.0 or 2.0, this is a humongous upgrade. You really need to be upgrading these things when you do lift kits on these Broncos. These tie rods are your weak link. It's not a matter if they break, it's a matter of when they break. So I kind of want to just highlight some differences and show you what it is. These Icon tie rods, in my opinion, are some of the best options on the market right now. We've experienced several different brands. This is kind of my go-to. So let's dig into this. I want to show you some differences and we'll go from there. So here you can see the actual physical difference. The tie rod itself isn't vastly different, the outer tie rod. This has the Ford Performance tie rod on it, so it's actually pretty decently sized. The big difference is when you get down here to the inner. It necks down in diameter a lot right here. It's really thin, and this is usually where we're seeing them snap. We're usually seeing them snap right in this range right here. So this does neck down a little bit to get to the threaded shank, but it is a larger diameter shank here, and then the rest of the inner tie rod is tremendously larger. So even though it does neck down, it's not as small as the one over here. So again, if you have the more like base model Broncos, this is going to be a much larger upgrade for you than it is for this particular one, because this already comes with a little bit of a beefier tie rod setup. Once you get started on this, get your vehicle off the ground, get the tire off, pull off that nut there. You can take this off if you want, but you don't have to. You're going to loosen this clamp, take the clamp off the boot up there, slide this boot back, and then you can get in there and knock that tie rod, the inner tie rod, loose, and you can actually spin it off as a complete assembly. If you want to, you can crack this nut loose, take this off first, slide the boot all the way off, but you don't actually have to. Ta-da! Before you install this, clean that off with brake clean really good to get any of the grease on there from shipping, and put a dab of blue Loctite. Don't need a whole lot. Once you get it snugged in there, don't go crazy, break out your torque wrench and torque it. Then, like I said, you've got to get your boot on the rack. On this, it's the 3.0, so you have to stretch that boot a little bit. Patience and some hose picks, and you'll get it on there. So this side, we just wanted to show you what it looks like without the boot on there. So if you don't want to assemble it as a complete unit, you can take it all apart. Once you get your inner on, you're going to install your boot. Do your clamps later. You can just pop the clamps apart and slide them around it later. Just go ahead and bottom that nut right out. When you put it on the ground, you're going to get your tires as close as possible before you go to the alignment shop. You're going to do that by eye or with a tape measure, one of the two. Now the tricky part. That inner boot, you need to get it stretched over the rack. That is the hardest part of this whole job, and it is hard. But you're going to have to be patient. Use some lube and get it stretched over. All right, well, I told you this wasn't going to be a super long video because it's not a super long install. Difficulty level is not very high. You could really do this in your driveway, and if you got meticulous on like measuring where like your rotor is from a fixed point on the vehicle and you put it back, you're going to get pretty darn close to getting this vehicle so you can at least drive it down to an alignment shop and get the toe set on it. And if you're not changing other stuff, really that's all they got to do is adjust toe. We do all it in house, so we're not super picky about how close we are. We'll just align it when we're done. So like I said though, if you have the Haas 3.0 rack with this Sasquatch Wild Track Style Edition, this is not an insanely huge upgrade because you do have the better tie rod. But it is a huge upgrade though because you get the better inner tie rod. If you have the Haas 1.0 or 2.0 rack, this isn't the Icon, this is the factory one, but the Icon tie rod is going to be a humongous upgrade for you. We've been really trying to urge all of our customers that are lifting these that we need to upgrade the tie rods because we are seeing them come in on the tow truck with broken tie rods when they go out two-tracking and wheeling, especially if they wheel kind of hard. So I don't care if you call us and buy them, I don't care if you call Icon and buy them, I don't care if you buy them off Amazon. Icon tie rods, great fit. If you need any help with anything, reach out to us at the shop. You can shoot us an email, give us a call, it doesn't matter. We always try to answer everything within 24 hours. Calls, obviously, we answer quickly. Emails, I personally do. We try to get back to you within 24 hours. So if you have any questions, let me know. Icon tie rod, great way to upgrade this crap. See you guys next week.